We'll call the meeting to order and have a roll call by the secretary.
Fiddler.
Here.
Mr. Overland. Mr. Love. Mr. Burridge.
Here.
Mr. Huckabee.
Here.
Mr. Alexander. Mr. Burgess. Mr. Regan.
Here.
Chair declares a quorum present to conduct business, and we'll call on the Secretary Director for introductions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. We're excited today that the new chairman of the Senate Transportation Committee has joined us, Senator Darcy Yeck from Kingfisher. Darcy and I actually met 20 years ago or so. I know we don't look that old, but we met because our daughters, Sarah and Brianna, were at Kappa Delta together at OSU, and so we were Dad's Days partners and house cleaning and all those things that dads do in sororities. But Mr. Chairman, if I might, I'd like to ask Darcy to come up and say a few words to the Commission.
Certainly.
Well, it's an honor to be here. I think we have both changed a little bit. If I remember, my hair was a different color, and yours was a little bit longer back then, if I remember right. In fact, I think it was quite a bit longer, if I remember. It's an honor to be here. I met some of you guys earlier. I'm from Kingfisher, born and raised. That's my home. Previous director Gary Ridley and I go back. We've got a little bit of a history. When I was in high school, he was making his way up through the rotation, and he was at Kingfisher for a while. And he loved baseball back then, and I did too. And he actually hired me, he did put me to work on I ran a mower a couple summers for him. But we also he was our American Legion baseball coach. So we've kind of kept in touch over the years, and I know he was happy last year after his Cubs won the World Series, so and I'm happy for him. So maybe they'll do it again in another 107 years. But anyway, it's an honor to be here. I've got a lot to learn, so I've been told there's some great folks up here, so I look forward to that. So anything I can do, keep me posted, and I look forward to working with you guys this coming year. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Item number 1 is the approval of the minutes of the Transportation Commission meeting of December the 4th, 2017. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Motion passes. Now, the consent docket consists of items 2 through 4. And if there's an item on there which a commissioner would like to discuss separately, we'll pull it out by acclamation and do so. Otherwise, we'll hear a motion regarding the consent docket.
Motion approved.
Have a motion?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? There's none. We're prepared to vote. Motion passes. Thank you. Item 5 is Mr. Tiegler, the programming items.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Happy New Year, everyone. Item number 5, I have my programming items. I have 2 this month. Part A, Okfuskee County in District 3. This is vehicle impact damage to I-40 eastbound over State Highway 27. The estimated cost for this project is $15,000. Project can be ready for an April 2018 letting, and the party responsible for the damage is known. Part B in Hughes County as well in District 3. This is a damage to the bridge, to the pier from fire. This is US 75 over the Canadian River. Project is estimated for $5,000 to repair. It is also will be ready for an April 2018 letting, and the party responsible for the damage is unknown. Try to answer any questions if you have any.
If there are no questions, we'll hear a motion.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Tiegler. Continue with the engineering contracts, please.
Thank you. I have 9 parts on our engineering contracts. Part A is a statewide, all districts. This is provide on-system bridge standards with White Engineering Associates for $1,211,400. Part B, statewide, all districts as well. This is provide on-demand planning studies. We selected Garver, HNTB Corporation, and High Street Consulting Group. The total aggregate not to exceed amount for these 3 contracts are $750,000. Part C is statewide as well, all districts. This is our on-demand mobile LiDAR mapping. We've selected Bearing Tree Land and Surveying and CEC Corporation. Total aggregate not to exceed for these 2 contracts are $1 million. Part D, Adair County District 1. This is provide engineering and construction plans for State Highway 100. This is with Atkins North America for $1,080,115. Part E in Cherokee County District 1 as well. This is engineering construction plans for State Highway 82. This is with Tetra Tech for $980,250. Part F in McIntosh County, District 1. This is engineering and construction plans for US 69. This is with EST for $582,700. Part G in Logan County in District 4. This is engineering and construction plans for State Highway 105. This is also with EST for $1,209,370. Part H in Custer County in District 5, engineering and construction plans for I-40 interchange and intersection modification at exit 65. We've selected Garver for $528,900. Part I, Delaware County in District 8, is engineering and construction plans for US 412A. There are 2 projects in this contract. One is 7.35 miles, the other is 4 miles. We've selected Benham Design for $1,634,040. Answer any questions if you have any, and approval is recommended.
Thank you, Mr. Tiegler.
Motion approved.
Have a motion?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Motion passes. We'll move to the engineering contract supplements.
I have 5 parts this month. Part A is a statewide, all districts. This is for our field facilities, site adaptation and prototypical building plans. We have it with CEC Corporation for another $200,000. Part B is statewide, all districts. This is our on-demand environmental studies. This is our first funding supplements for these contracts. It is with Able Consulting, CC Environmental, CEC Corporation, CH Guernsey and Company, CP&Y, Cox McLean Environmental Consulting, and Garver. The total aggregate increase for these contracts are $700,000. Part C in K County in District 4. This is for additional engineering to final the construction plans for I-35 bridge raising at these county roads with HNTB Corporation for $23,476. Part D in Oklahoma County in District 4. This is for the additional engineering and construction plans for I-235 with Benham Design. This is for $450,500. And finally, Part E, Creek County in Division 8. This is additional engineering and construction plans for State Highway 66 with CEC Corporation for $9,700. Approval is recommended, and I'll answer any questions if you have any.
Heard the presentation. If there are no questions, we'll hear a motion.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion.
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? Please vote on item 7. Motion passes. We'll move to item 8. Thank you, Mr. Tiegler. Ms. Sullivan will present the STIP.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Today I'm presenting for your approval the 2018 through 2021 statewide Transportation Improvement Program, commonly referred to as the STIP. We are required to develop the STIP for all areas of the state in cooperation with our metropolitan planning organizations and consultation with local officials and tribal governments. The STIP includes all projects within the state that are proposed for funding with federal transportation dollars, as well as all regionally significant projects, and is physically constrained. Upon approval by the Commission and completion of public review and comment, the STIP will be sent to the Federal Highway Administration and Federal Transit Administration for formal approval. Your approval is recommended.
Thank you for all the hard work you guys have put in on the STIP. A lot of work goes into that document. Do we have any questions of Ms. Sullivan? Everybody had got their copy of the program? Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? Thank you very much. Please vote. Motion passes. Another milestone. Item number 9 is the lettings. Ms. Helms, we're ready for you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, and members of the commission. Agenda item number 9 is for the final March, tentative April, tentative May 2018 bid openings. The department requests and recommends approval of this item.
You've heard the presentation for the lettings.
Motion approved.
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second of that motion. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes. Thank you.
Just wanted to share with the commission a small reminder that we are still under the continuing resolution through January 19th, which limits our availability of our federal funds. It's important as it relates to project authorizations.
Very important. Thank you. Does anybody have any further questions?
How does that impact, how does that impact February, the letting?
Well, currently, although Congress has approved the continuing resolution, the funds are required to be posted to the FHWA ledger, which enables us to authorize projects. And the February letting is not currently fully authorized at this point. However, we have some time between now and the middle of January to make that happen, provided that FHWA posts that to their ledger fairly quickly. In the worst case event that those funds aren't available, projects would be required to slide possibly till March.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Leonard is going to come next and present the change orders that are less than $75,000. Unless someone has a question of him, we'll move to the change orders that are over $75,000. And he and I want to make sure that if you weren't on the committee that reviews the change orders, that you have the additional ones. I believe that he's made those available to everybody else. There's about 4 of them. If you don't have those, let us know. If there's no questions regarding the under, then we'll move to the over your presentation.
Members of the commission, I'd like to present item number 11, parts A through double T. These are the change orders on projects. Cumulative total change orders in excess of $75,000. Be glad to answer any questions.
You have that presentation before you. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve the change orders greater than $75,000.
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Motion passes. We'll move to, we're going to let everybody vote. There we go. We're going to move to item, thank you, sir. We're going to move to item 12. Mr. Saliba is going to present a contractor's claim.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I have the opportunity to present agenda item number 12, which is a settlement of a claim in the balance amount of $95,696.55 for project STP 119D 005 in the whole CI, Creek County, contract with Hub Construction. Approval is requested to provide funding for payment of the settlement of a claim submitted by the contractor for compensation of unrecoverable costs incurred as a result of delays experienced during construction. The contract was awarded to Hub Construction in December 2014 for a contract price of $883,310.10. During the prosecution of the work, it was discovered that the unclassified material being utilized for construction of the roadway embankment had come from a nearby EPA Superfund site known as the old Wilcox Oil Refinery. The contractor was directed to cease operations until such time as testing and remediation of the borrowed material could be performed. The contractor filed a claim for the cost associated with this delay. The original claim filed by the contractor requested $888,850.92, and the negotiated settlement is for $222,726.62. The statutory limit for this project is 15% of the original contract amount, or $132,496.51. Change order number one used $5,466.44 of this limit, and the other items of work unrelated to other items unrelated to this work. Change order number three will provide payment for $127,030.07, which represents the unused portion of the statutory limitation. The remainder of the settlement amount, $95,696.55, will be authorized by this special agenda item and will be documented on a subsequent change order. Approval of this claim will require additional appropriations, but will eliminate the need for formal mediation or further litigation. Your approval of this settlement claim is respectfully requested.
We have the recommendation from Mr. Saliba for this dispute.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
And we have a second for item 12. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes. Thank you for Mr. Saliba for bringing that to a conclusion. And we're now to item 13, which is the Secretary Director's report, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, and thank you for showing up on a Wednesday. I've told many of you the story. You know, we set this commission meeting. Sherry and I kind of wrestle about the calendar at some point in October or November, and she needs to get those dates. And I thought OU was going to win a game, which would have made it difficult to have a commission meeting next Monday. But so thanks for indulging. Good point. Good point. So we were trying to work around a football game, and I wish they had won the game for the,
I can tell it's
good
just
of the
killing
cause.
you.
For the good of the cause.
Look like you guys were going on vacation.
That's right. That's right. But so thanks for being here on a Wednesday and making all this happen. I want to talk to you about a couple of things. We have some projects ongoing here in the Oklahoma City area that I wanted to remind the commission and the public about. One of them is a repair that's occurring. Brian Taylor tells me it's occurring right now. We actually did get to start. We thought we were going to start a few weeks ago, but we started this morning. OG&E and their contractor are repairing I-40 on the crosstown in downtown Oklahoma City as we speak, and it'll take them a while, but it started at 9 a.m. this morning. If you recall, they had a boring operation under I-40 a couple of months ago that caused some damage to the surface, and so they're now repairing the subgrade in the surface to I-40. I get it backwards, but on one side there's a hump and the other side there's a dip, and neither of which are good, so they're going to get that fixed. They have one of the best contractors in the state of Oklahoma working on it, so I think there'll be a successful completion to that project. The other couple of projects I want to mention, one is the I-235, I-44 project, and we're about to embark on what's a new thing for us here in Oklahoma, and we're going to move those railroad bridges, a much anticipated movement of those two long railroad bridges into place. We're thinking January 20th, might be the 27th. It's all dependent, heavily dependent on weather situation. If the wind's blowing in excess of 20, 25 miles an hour, that's going to be a problem. If there's snow and ice, that's going to be a problem. So we're thinking January 20th. We may have to extend to the 27th, or we may have to go a weekend beyond that. Again, it's weather dependent. But one of the things that we need to continue to impart on the traveling public is our off-Broadway campaign. And there's a map on your display now. And we've been talking about this ever since the project started. We would really prefer that people go around this project and stay out of the work zone. But if you have to go through the work zone, when we close the interstate for that weekend, then you're going to have to choose one of these routes to go around. Originally, we thought we were going to close it for 2 weekends to move the 2 bridges, but we have now decided at the suggestion of the contractor that we're going to extend the weekend by 1 day and get it all done in 1 weekend. The impact will be that we're going to pay more money for that, and that's okay, because the impact to the traveling public will be greatly reduced, and future closures will be reduced as well. So look for an extended Friday night through Tuesday morning rather than 2 weekends, and look for the 20th, 27th. We'll have bleachers set up if you want to come out there and watch it, or if you would rather sit in the comfort of your own home, we'll have it live streamed over your computer. But again, it's something that we're excited to do. It's going to be good. The chief tells me it's going to be good, so it's going to be good. We're going to have fun, I think is the word I like to use. But again, we are encouraging people to stay out of that construction zone. Go ahead and try the off-Broadway detours now, because you're going to have to use them at the latter part of January. Another project that's about to embark here in central Oklahoma is Choctaw Rd and I-40. We're going to start that one this weekend. That is going to be a major interchange improvement along that route, but you know that we're also expanding that corridor, because there's also going to be another interchange built out there for the eastern Oklahoma County turnpike that's going in around Hera. So there's going to be a lot of activity on the I-40 corridor east of Oklahoma City, so we need the public to be aware of that as well. I think I did this last year, for sure I did, maybe the year before, but I wanted to take a couple of minutes with all that's going on. I wanted to remind not only the commission, but the department of the things that we did this last year. Some of the highlights. I mean, we're working hard, and sometimes we don't realize that we're making progress. Sometimes we don't realize the impact that we're making on not only the state of Oklahoma, but the country. One is, the first one I want to talk about is something that we look at as a negative, but there's a positive to this. When you approved at the October meeting the next version of the 8-year construction work plan, the 15th version of the 8-year plan, we had to, it was the second year that we actually had to reduce the number of projects. We keep having to slide because of budget cuts. We keep having to slide projects. Well, this was the first time projects actually slid out of the 8-year plan, slid into year 9, 10, off the plan. Not a good situation. But the thing you have to be proud about, we've never lost focus on the 8-year plan. We never gave up on our fiscally constrained 8-year plan. And it worked exactly like it was supposed to. We did exactly what we were supposed to do. If you have less money, you have to do less things. And so rather than making some allowances and trying to keep it all in there, doing something, we did what we were supposed to do as a commission, as a department. And for that, I'm proud of it. If you look back since 2010, we've lost funding around $840 million. So you have to react to that. You can't just sweep it under the rug and cover it up. You have to do something. And we did exactly. We've been sliding projects, but at some point they slid out of the plan. And we told the legislature in the 2016 session, when we took that reduction, we could, if we did it again, we would have to take projects out of the plan. And so our forecast was right, and we did exactly what we should have done. But as you look at some of the things we've done, we've had a lot of accolades for our center rumble strips on the center line. We put in 450 miles worth of those rumble strips. And if, you know, we saw the success of the edge line rumble strips, and now we've got the center rumble strips. They will make an impact. They will save lives, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. The Purcell-Lexington Bridge, if you recall, that bridge was closed, and then we reopened it low posted. We said that if we could get it designed and go through our environmental process, which for the first time ever, we did that concurrently. We did design at risk, so we did it concurrently so we could get it to the letting as quickly as possible. And you awarded that project a few months ago, and construction has started years ahead of schedule because of the opportunity to do design at risk. If you look back at our earthquake response, and many of the people in this room have rolled on little bitty earthquakes back in the day because we didn't know what they were. We educated ourselves on what earthquakes were. I'll remind you, Caltrans sent 2 of their best engineers to help us through that process. This last year, we have now employed Shakecast, so we even have more information. The U.S. Geological Society, the Oklahoma Geological Society have helped us through this whole process. So now we don't roll on every little earthquake. We have more knowledge. We know what impacts they will make on which particular bridges. So you think about bridges. We embarked on our structurally deficient bridge problem back in 2004. 1,168, 17%. We're now under 200 structurally deficient bridges. And we never want to say earthquake and structurally deficient bridge in the same sentence, but you have to wonder, had we not done that, what would our bridges look like with all the earthquakes that we've been through? Timing is everything. We've made great strides on our structurally deficient bridges again. And then the thing that I think is, of all the things that we've done, but the one that means so much to me personally is our work zone safety campaign. And the fact that 2 years ago we made it a priority. And this year, this agency put together the work zone safety campaign, an award-winning work zone safety campaign, to really talk about not only the impact it has on our employees who are out there working alongside traffic, our contractors' employees working alongside traffic, but to the 85 people who have traveled through those work zones and perished. It wasn't the workers, it was the travelers through the work zones. So while it's a dangerous place for us, it's a dangerous place for everyone. And we want to make that continual awareness as we go through. Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to answer any questions, take any comments.
Appreciate the year, and do we have any commissioners that'd like to make a comment or ask a question of the Director Secretary?
I would, Mr. Chairman. I just, I appreciate the effort the department's put into safety. The bridges, as you mentioned, the rumble strips down the center lines, I think is a big deal. The cables that we're putting in, and then the work zone safety, I really think we're making a big impact on saving lives in Oklahoma, and I think that that's a huge deal. Appreciate it.
Any further comments? Well, we're sorry the rest of the guys weren't here to hear your report today. If there's nothing further to come before the commission,
Mr. Chairman,
yeah.
may I make one announcement?
Yep.
Is this on? Is that better? There we go. I couldn't find any caller stays earlier, so I jumped in an office and I got some caller stays. I wanted to thank them, but I also wanted to congratulate them on their retirement. Leroy Tackett is not down here, but he's up there and he's retiring after a long, distinguished career. So just wanted to thank him for the caller stays and his service.
Thank you for doing that, Commissioner, because Leroy's not one to dance around about it, but he's been a great employee for this agency, and I appreciate you mentioning that.
And I've got an extra little deal here if anybody needs one for.
Paper clips.
If not, I'm just going to sell it on eBay.
Paper clips.
We'll hear a motion to adjourn. Move.
Second.
Second. Vote.